Hello everyone and welcome to my new video. So as I said in the last one, I'm gonna talk about the Lenovo Legion GO to give first impressions and talk about it's a handheld PC, right? It's a Windows handheld gaming personal computer. And I have had this for about a week now. Has it been about a week? Did I get this? I don't remember whether I got this Monday or at the end of last week. I think it was probably Monday. Just yesterday I got the USB hub and also this little thing that's attached here to my charging cable, which is an angular thing to put the charging cable at an angle that is more appropriate. It's a good thing. And do I have to? Yeah, I'll have to put in my password here. And so I'll just again talk about different impressions that I have of this system and talk about a couple different things. And I'm probably not going to show too much information here. I still have this like this, but I'm gonna share some thoughts that I have on this unit. And I guess first thing, I will address some things that were talked about in the last video, because I was talking about this. And when I talk about this, I think it's important to keep other more sensible options on the table, like the Nintendo Switch or other gaming handheld devices or even your cell phone, because the truth is you just want to pass some time and play some video games. You can just use your cell phone and play some video games. It has better battery life and usually great screens and everything, but some people just really don't like playing games on a cell phone, even though you can get a controller for that, but that can be problematic a little bit. I'm not gonna say that, just get your cell phone with a controller and you can play everything perfectly. That's not how it works, unfortunately. It would be great. And you also have these little handhelds. I have an Ambernic RG351V, I think it's the one I have. I'm not gonna compare it here. I'm not gonna do too many comparisons of size or anything to other things. And those should definitely be on your table, because really, if you just want something to play some video games on, I would probably tell you just to get a Nintendo Switch. And right, just get a Nintendo Switch. It's reasonable. My friend was talking about this. He owns a Switch. I think he owns a first generation Switch, and so he was just telling me that the battery life is garbage. And well, the original Nintendo Switch had garbage battery life. The second version, when they did it, they improved on that. And then the OLED Switch, they improved on that again. So at this point, as far as I understand, the Nintendo Switch is doing pretty well as far as battery life. The OLED will get you 5 hours of battery life when it's new. Then later, eventually, it's probably going to start having problems and all that. But yeah, it's a game that, again, it's a system that does have decent battery life. This game recommend template layout gamepad. Yeah. Am I on? No, I'm not. So I don't know why this game is telling me anything, but whatever. So this against the Nintendo Switch again. The only reason why I didn't get a Switch over this, there are two main reasons. First, I wanted a laptop or a PC or something of the sort. And the other thing is I already have a huge library on Windows, and that's what made me think about this, because again, I tested the Nintendo Switch OLED on the store, and it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. But you can get those Joy-Con things, those different ones for the Switch. Right, the ones that are like this, that look more like a controller, the Hori split pad, and there are many others. And so if you really have an issue with the little Joy-Cons, it becomes less portable at that point, right? You start getting into a realm of being kind of similar size to this, but it's not going to affect your battery life too much, and it's still lighter. So it's a trade-off. I think if I had a Nintendo Switch OLED and I wanted to take it on a trip, or take it with me on a day-to-day basis thing, I might just leave the Joy-Cons on just to have it more portable, because otherwise it's just maybe too much. And this game is having a problem that it has very often with different software and hardware configurations, where it compiles the shaders every time it turns on. So you're here just wasting your time and your battery with compilation of the shaders, which is a problem. This is actually a problem for this right now. I'm not sure whether this is gonna be solved when the newest drivers get released or whatever, but it is what it is. And so overall, I had been looking for, I almost bought one of those Asus gaming tablets that they have, because that's what I wanted a while back, a couple of years ago, just to be able to use all my Windows stuff. And I do not just edit, but I use the sheet music that I edited in MuseScore software. I use it then on the tablet, but that thing does not work properly on Android. On Android, you can't just open whatever sheet music you want that you made. It's weird. Like, you need the internet. It was giving me all sorts of trouble for that. But on Windows, it works perfectly, and so that's the reason why I wanted to actually have a Windows thing. But a tablet's good, because you put this on its side, and even this one that's very small, you put it on its side, and you can look at some sheet music, so that much. Oh, this actually supports touchscreen, this game. I didn't know that. I didn't realize. Well, it's not supporting touchscreen, it's just using the mouse, right? So let's load this. And to me, the screen is amazing on this thing, and the fact that it's very, very big does help a lot. But the fact that it's gigantic means that when you're holding it like this, it's not super comfortable. And that is, again, the reason why I wanted this guy instead of the other ones. Because whenever you can, and you just detach these controllers, and they are a pain to detach, I will definitely admit that much. There you go, fell on the floor. And this one, okay, this one came out pretty easy and no problem. So as you can see, it is a pain to detach them. Even after you detach them, the trackpad still works, and it's fine. And for the most part, I can play like this. Generally speaking, no problem. I haven't had an issue with playing this game like this. I think some people don't like it, but the analog sticks are not very stiff, so you can move them without the controllers wanting to slip out of your hand. And the buttons, I can reach them no problem when I press them. If I'm pressing the D-pad, see, you can see that. Yeah, I think you can see that. I press these buttons and it's not like the controller is rattling around and I'm losing control of it. So generally speaking, it works very well. I like how it is. Now, is there anything major that I should be talking about first? Yes, I'll talk about the following first. This device probably needs everybody to remake their reviews, right? But that's what these companies get for releasing a hardware or software, doesn't matter, to release a product half-baked. Okay, they released this console half-baked for sure, and they improved a lot on it since then, especially at the end of the year, I think, or maybe it was January, I'm not sure, but they improved this a lot. And you'll hear a lot of people talking about all these problems that they have. Like, for example, to bring up the menu, this menu here, that gets you to your options, and I'm always using balanced, and down here efficiency. That's all I use. Okay. And I just unplugged this. I'm already at 90%. I just unplugged this just to make this video, right? So the battery life is bad. It's pretty bad. So they were saying that you needed to press this button like 3 times and you had to be careful not to press it too fast, and you had this and that. It's like, well, I don't know what I was trying to replicate the problem that these people were having, and I couldn't, because I mean it's not a problem. No, another problem that people have is that this button is the Legion button. I'm not gonna even press it because I don't think this program is open. If I press it, it's gonna launch the Lenovo experience thing that I have deactivated. It doesn't boot with the console, I think. But this is select and start, right? This is start, and this is select that I can hold to try to go to different places. Or if I just press it, it's the chat, and this is start. That gets me into the menus and stuff. And so a lot of people don't like that because they press start and select here, and they get confused and everything. And I didn't find that to be a problem. For some reason, I have the tendency to look for start and select under my buttons and not upwards. It's more important to me that it's under than that it is closer, even because this button is very close, but I'm not looking up there. So if I suddenly need to press start or select, I don't accidentally press any of these buttons because that's not my reflex. But that's the problem. Like, each person has different reflexes because of different experience that they have with different controllers. And so this was an issue for a lot of people, and they let you remap this. It's a weird remap where I think it goes like, because I would think it would go like this, that this button here is this one and this one is this one, but it goes like this button becomes this one, and this button becomes this one, and that button becomes the bottom one. I don't know exactly why they did it that way. It's not logical to me, but I just don't know. The frame rate seems very very good, but all that kind of stuff is subjective. I have this, as I'm trying to get here, I have this at limited at 60 frames per second to improve battery life, and still draining like crazy, right? Major issue with these. You can see that I have VRAM pretty full, RAM is pretty full, but GPU and CPU utilization are not super high. And I don't think it gets super high playing this game with these graphics, and because the fan doesn't ramp up, and it's pretty quiet if it's not under a lot of load. So for my use, it's mostly okay. But when I have the problem where it whines. The fan is whiny. It has a loud, high-pitched noise that I actually did test it. If I just touch a specific spot in the back, it's a whistle. It's a literal whistle. If I touch a specific point, spot on the back of the console, it stops completely. So I could probably do the tape mod that some people do. That is just you glue a little piece of tape on that spot, and then the whiny noise goes away. It probably will impact your thermals a little bit, but this is what I'm talking about. This is where the fan is. So this is the intake, and I think I have to touch like about here, and then the high-pitched noise goes away. And it's not like this or like this. I just touch it like here, somewhere around here, and then it stops. So again, it is going to impact thermals, but probably just about a few degrees, because again, like you have a lot of rest area that you can pull air from, right? But I'm not sure how much. I didn't think too much about it. Most of the time when I am playing, it's fine. Like I don't really have these problems, so I'm okay. Yeah, I mean, I was torn between buying a gaming laptop. I thought a gaming laptop would be more reasonable because I can just use it, and there are like these little quirks that are so individual, and this is a problem that people probably are gonna have when they're gonna buy these things. And even I bought this. I'm not sure whether it's gonna be good or not for me. So far, I'm really liking it, but when I actually need to do some work on this, is it gonna be fine? Am I gonna have a monitor available when I need one? I wanted to buy a laptop, but I don't like using laptops as a desktop because they are so bulky on your table, right? And what you can see right now, I can't really do this with a laptop, but I was watching YouTube today and doing some stuff with this on this keyboard, because this keyboard is developed to do this, to have stuff on it, because it's a stage keyboard where people sometimes need actually a computer, a laptop or a tablet or a mouse or something. And it has the surface area that's left free for people to be able to use the surface. And I do use this like this then. And so far it's working for me. I also have the problem that if I bought a laptop here, it would have German keyboard. But if I go to Brazil and I start working on something, I'm gonna need a Brazilian keyboard. It sucks not having a Brazilian keyboard there because they have different symbols and accents and stuff. You need to have that. And I would have to find a keyboard anyway. So what's the point of having a keyboard attached to the thing if I'm not gonna use the one that's in there? But you see, it's not gonna help you. None of this talk is gonna help you because it's all my very personal. I think this device, probably the biggest target audience for this is actually people who just want to buy gimmicks and stuff, right? Which I probably fit in that, right? A lot. I probably could just get away with not buying this at all. And when I get to Brazil and I need something, I just figure something out. Just get something from someone. I could land an old laptop from someone, and then borrow a cheap laptop from someone, and then figure it out somehow, right? And I would save a lot of money because this cost me $700. It was on sale because it's even more expensive. It's 800, but it was on sale for 700, so I pulled the trigger, which also helps, right? Like you put the price way too high, $700 for just a gaming tablet. Are you kidding me? And then look, it's just $800. No, it's just 700. So yeah, it's totally worth it. It's like, oh well, maybe. maybe it's gonna be totally worth it, maybe not. So again, it's really cool. I think it's really cool. I like I changed the color of this little part here because you can do that in the software. These buttons, I don't have them mapped, right? But this thing does this one thing that is really weird. But I used it. I legitimately used it the other day, which is first-person shooter mode. But I didn't use it as a first-person shooter mode. You change this thing here into first-person shooter, and then you're not using a controller anymore. You are using a mouse. And then you put this thing in here, and this is your vertical mouse. And then it moves like this, and you can still theoretically, yeah, it's working. I've never tested this with this game, and I don't know what the buttons do now. So if I click something here, I'm not getting a response. I'm getting this. This works. I don't know how to go back. Okay, now I do. So it works kinda. This still does something. What buttons do what? Probably the attack buttons are on the left and right mouse button, but you can't attack in the town. So that's why that's not gonna activate. But I can't seem to. Oh, this was right. See, this is what, left L2 or something. There is a button that snaps the camera, right? And so these buttons do whatever. So no, doesn't seem playable, right? Doesn't seem playable because I don't have the buttons to use it. But I have the FPS thing here. And the one thing that I would tell people because a lot of people have been using this FPS thing, and they're grabbing the controller like this, right? Because I think that is a reflex that you would have. But I work on a daily basis with ergonomics of things that are not ergonomically made, because I'm a musician. So we play instruments, and instruments are not made ergonomically. Sometimes they are a little bit, but there's some instruments that are very limited in how ergonomic they can be. You just have to go around it. And what I do is, if I'm using it like a mouse, I don't grab it. I let my hand fall on this, and I use the weight of my arm to move this around, and it works, right? So I'm not grabbing onto this. I'm just moving this around like this with the simple weight of my hand. And this is grabbing onto this because this is magnetic down here, and this is magnetic metal, and so this is grabbing here. It's quite weird, but it still works. And then I have the fingers on the buttons that I want to use, and that's pretty cool. That I was browsing around my Windows. It was not the internet, it was my Windows, because I was taking files from and to different folders and everything. It worked pretty well. I was scrolling here with the scroll wheel and pressing left and right mouse buttons, and then back and forward like this. You know that side mouse button that you have like on the side here? That my mice right now that I'm using, I don't think well, one of them has that, the other one doesn't. I even forgot that. I just tested it, and I was like, oh yeah, this is back and forth. That's pretty cool. And so, is it as good as a mouse? Is it really gonna be used? Most people don't seem to use this, right? But it's that situation. It's like, I'm on my desk, and I'm using my computer, and I'm using this together with the computer in tandem, and then I need to do something that's more mouse oriented. If I already have this and it's like this, and I can just flip a switch, put this on, and use it for 15 minutes and then be done with it, then this is fine, right? If I was gonna either play first-person shooters for hours or work for hours, just get a mouse. Like, a mouse is not hard to get. Like, how much of a benefit is this first-person shooter mode when a mouse is almost as big. It's a little bit bigger, a mouse, but it's not like you can get mice that are gonna be on the ballpark of size of this stupid thing that you need to use the mouse mode with this thing. You get what I mean? Like if you can carry this around, you can carry a mini mouse around. So what is the point of this? What is the need for this when having a mouse is so easy? A keyboard is something different. If they had a good substitute for a keyboard on this thing, well, that you know, that would be interesting. Or if they had like a keyboard cover or something, some kind of whatever, if they gave you a keyboard with this, and to say, well, it's a laptop kind of thing, well, that would be much more value to the user, to the player, than this. But like this mouse thing, even though I actually don't mind it, I think it works pretty well, as you saw. Like just let the weight of your hand carry this around, and then you can just put the tip of your fingers in the places where you want them to be, and it worked for me. Like this, I don't think it would work, because as you see, you start messing with the thumbstick, and it's all weird and uncomfortable. So, but if you're just lightly holding it like this, right? And you can see my hand is not grabbing onto the thing. I'm just putting the tips of my fingers on the buttons that I need to use, and the weight of my pinky here and the side of my hand is what is actually carrying this around. And I'm trying to relax my arm and let it fall onto this platform so that I move it around. Okay, now how many people can do this? I don't know, because again, as I said, I am a specialist in this kind of thing. My entire job is to teach people how to ergonomically use non-ergonomic things, and my entire life has been spent learning how to use these kinds of things and reprogramming my motoric skills to do what I want them to do. So to me, it's probably relatively easy to adapt to this, where most people are gonna be very confused. And don't underestimate how hard it is to train motorics, right? If you're used to something, if you're used to a mouse, just the fact that your hand is not horizontal, it's vertical, it can be so confusing, and it's gonna just ruin your experience, right? So let's take a look at battery life. We're at 28 minutes in playing this game, and we're at 78%. So you see, like, we're gonna get more than an hour out of this, but we shouldn't be getting 2 hours out of this. And in the beginning, I wasn't even in the game, so the battery life sucks. And I'm not even like on super high settings or anything. What's the brightness? This is one thing that I will say, like the brightness. Yeah, you see, it's at 70%, but it's very bright. It's like, I think a lot of screens up here, like a lot of screens, they max out at this brightness. And I still have, can I just change it on? I can't just really change it that easy. It's irrelevant for the video, because my camera is going to be compensating for the light. You can never measure light with just a cell phone camera filming something, right? It's gonna do its own thing. It's actually much brighter on the camera. It's kind of over bright. But this right now, and I have I have the window open, so I have light in the room, and this brightness is perfect. Like I really don't need more. It's a very bright screen, and it's a very good screen. So yeah, I did want to talk about the FPS mode in that sense. And also, as I was saying, there is a lot of things that changed with this. I took this out of the box. I open the Lenovo space thing that it tells you that it wants to update itself, and you do it. And then it tells you that you need to update the AMD drivers and that you need to update Windows, and you do it all from Lenovo space. And I didn't have to go to any websites to download any drivers of anything. This is updated now, and this is working as it should. You know, it does it. It does it in a streamlined way now. Because a lot of people were complaining that it didn't. Like when Lenovo, the program, the software would tell you, oh, you need to download this software, this drivers or the Adrenaline software for AMD graphics cards. And what it would do was to send you to the website, and you go download it, boy, and that's garbage. Now it's installing. The one thing that actually did take me to the website, and I needed to just open it myself manually and install it manually because it's not fully integrated, it was GOG. The GOG Galaxy thing, you need to install it from the I'm pressing the wrong button. You need to install that from the web page. So, but after you do, actually, if you're inside, I don't know why I closed, but after you are there, as you can see, I have I don't know what I would need to press, because it's telling me to press the menu button, right? And hold the Xbox menu button. I don't have that button. So how do I now try to get away from Steam? Because I'm supposed to hold. There you go. If I go all the way back, all the way down, no, wasn't I there? What? No, I selected. Ah, okay, just here. So I can go to, if you just exit back, go back, you can exit Steam. Steam big picture mode works very well with this. The way I have it is, I have Steam not starting up by itself, right? If I want to open Steam, I open Steam. If I want to open GOG, I open GOG. But if you let the Lenovo Legion app open up, it does have GOG Galaxy and Steam in there, and you can open them, right? That's not an issue if you want to do that. I'd rather just come into desktop mode here, and if I want to play a Steam game, I'll open Steam. If I want to play a GOG Galaxy game, I'll just open GOG Galaxy. And from here I go, and if I want to exit, I'll quit. Which takes me to the next step. If all you have is Steam games, and you don't care about these detachable things, you probably want a Steam Deck. One reason why I got this also, and not that ROG Ally, is that this one, just like the Steam Deck, it has a trackpad, and using Windows with a touch screen on this device, I'm not sure whether all devices are like that. Sometimes it's kind of glitchy and you can't open what you want, and it's garbage. And so you just use the mouse and you go there and you click on it. It mostly works properly. But with the touch screen, it doesn't always work properly, which is again it's a ding on this. It's a problem that this has, right? It's not okay that it doesn't always work. But I got all my documents, all my important documents into this. I have all my sheet music. I have the software installed in this. I'm not gonna go around opening a bunch of stuff to not dox myself. I'm just gonna be doing this on this basic level, but And bumping the camera is also very professional of me. No, I'm not professional at all, and I'm never gonna be. So, well, never say never, but it's not the intention right now. And so I think the trackpad is kind of, if you have Windows and you don't even have this, you might get in trouble. The annoying thing that's pretty stupid is that unless you go into that FPS mode, which then disables this, you don't really have a left and right mouse click. The left mouse click is just tapping, right? And the right mouse click is holding the button, and then you see, and then it does it. It should have had an easy way of doing the mouse click. The one thing that I do like is this scroll wheel, that it's always here. And if I'm using Windows with this attached or not attached in the hand like this, if I'm scrolling through files on my computer, or even if I'm on Steam and I'm scrolling around, I use this all the time, and I think it's very good. Some people were complaining that when you're in FPS mode, you're holding this like this, and then the wheel should have been somewhere else, but they put it here because you're holding it. These people are holding it like this, and so they're like, well, the wheel should have been somewhere where my thumb is, right? But the thing is, the way they made it, that when you're using left and right click, left and right click, it's the same buttons that do the clicks, but it's confusing because it's turned on the side. You have to shut your brain off to that turning off your hand. When you're using it like this, you still can access this pretty easy, if you can do that, right? And then you have your other buttons here, and this is how you're supposed to be using that. And then when you have it in controller mode, it's like this, and then you can just access this like this, right? And you kind of do need to have long fingers, which I do, so I'm fine with this. But it's a way that they found to have this accessible to both modes. I'll be honest, I think this console is a weird, crazy ass Frankenstein. And for that, I think it's very well made. There is a very good team of engineers behind this thing to have made all they did with this, because this is a flawed idea, right? In so many levels, you can't have this be good, right? Like it is, you can't have a Nintendo Switch gaming laptop thing that, what am I doing? Just close this. I hope I'm not, I hope I didn't. I'll have to watch the video now and see whether I doxed myself. But this is the thing. Taking this out, these controllers out and in, as you saw, it is very cumbersome. Now, if you have this on your lap and you can wedge them like this and like that, but not only this thing is huge, right? And the system is clumsy, and you need to apply the right amount of pressure and the right angle to do it all. But right here on the edges, where you're gonna be holding on to the tablet to do this, here and there, you have your I/O right there, and especially the power button. It's so incredibly hard to put these controllers in without turning this on and off. And if it's on and you press it, it's fine, it goes off, but you immediately press the button on, it just turns off the screen, or it's like an Android device, right? It's not gonna boot down the entire thing just because you press the button. It's just gonna go into some kind of sleep mode, rest, or just, again, just turn off the screen. It's fine. But if it's off, you were using this in tablet mode with the controllers in your hands, and just want to put them back in, to put it back in the case, and then you accidentally press the power button, you'll need to log in again and turn the fucking thing off again. And that is really annoying. So you have to be extra careful not to do that. Again, it's fine when you're in your living room, but if you are playing this on the train and then you're getting to the place where you want it to be, and then you just want to quickly put this stuff back, back on and put it into the bag and close it and go, it can be really bad. So that's why I'm saying, like, the quality of life of this thing to just normal day-to-day, actually portable, on-the-go use, I question that. Okay, I really question that, and if there's someone who watches this video for some reason who want to share that they think it's great, tell us that it's great. I'm not saying it can't be. I don't know. I haven't even taken this out anywhere. It's just been in my home all this time. I'm going to take it out, but it's going to take a while till I do. So the other thing that is very, very clumsy about this is using Windows like this. If it's on the table, right? If I have another reason why I like this one over the Ally, because the Ally doesn't even have a kickstand. I don't know why the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally don't have a kickstand. That's so obvious. Like, Nintendo figured it out with the Switch. Why don't you figure it out with your consoles? Even if they don't detach the Joy-Cons, have a stand. Because if I'm using Windows like this, I'm fine. But if I'm using Windows like this, another reason why it has to have this thing, right? I'm using Windows like this. What am I supposed to do? I can't hold this, and I saw another review saying that also. Like, I don't recommend you hold this entire thing, and this weighs over 800 grams, that you hold this entire thing just on one of these controllers, and then use your other hand to tap around Windows like this. It's a lot of torque that is going to be applied right here, right? And you're going to have all kinds of problems of controller wobble later, and it's not going to be good. I don't recommend it. What I do is this. I hold it like this, so I have a pivot over here, so it's only like 2/3 of the weight there and 1/3 over here, and but you think this is cool? Like, you have to like do like this, and then you press around here and use your Windows, and then you go like this, and then but I needed to do this, and then you go like this, and you go like this again. You can use the touchpad, but you don't have an easy left and right click. And if you want to type something on this screen, then we're back to blah 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 and blah 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 blah, and that sucks. It sucks, right? So again, we'll see what happens. I'm kind of hoping for a couple things to get the best out of this, which is not the best situation to be in, to hope, right? Well, I hope, I'm gonna cross this road. I'm not gonna look to either side. I hope I don't die. Well, great attitude, right? Like, you're not gonna live long if that's your attitude. Don't do that. Like, don't hope for stuff to work. Like, try to make sure it does. But I'm hoping that I have a power outlet during this trip. Otherwise, I'm not going to be using this very long on the go, right? In the trip. Now, on the other side, there's the thing. I'm not too worried about that. It's not like I'm counting on my Lenovo Legion GO to be able to go through this terrible trip, because I need to be playing my game. It's like it's fine. I play a couple hours or I don't, and then it's okay. I wanted to have something as I'm there, right, where I can do a multitude of different things, from watching YouTube to using Windows programs that I know I will need to use over there, that I don't trust the Android necessarily to do all the things that I need. I'm gonna be at a house where I know I can get a monitor. I know they have keyboards, right, in the house where I'm gonna be, and then I can have this. I can afford to have this like this. And again, I have this situation where not just here, but on my gaming desk. This is not a gaming desk, it's my desk where I use everything and where I do my sheet music editing and everything else. I have 3 monitors. I have a keyboard just like this on top of the desk, and I don't have space for a laptop there. It's going to be in the way, it's going to be in front of the screens, or it's going to it's so clumsy, it's so garbage. And this thing, it fits just right on top of that keyboard, away from the keys, just fine, and I can use it. And I used it like that, and then I plug in a keyboard to use it, a dual computer thing, and it works. If I want to play a video game here or there, I can just use this. I can use it on my hands. If I want to have this like on something, even my hands, I would want them to be on something. If I am resting, I will not hold this up. Again, this is 850 grams. I would not play this like holding this up like this. And especially because when you're playing like this, right? When you're playing like this, you need to be able to move your hands. This thing of that people do, that they put this in your hands like this, and then you're doing it like that. It's very uncomfortable. I would try to avoid that. But if you're resting it kind of on something, and I've used this very, very good support here. Like if you open this and you put this on your leg or on a surface that you have in front of you, I've done this, and then you don't have to hold this up anymore, right? You have to kind of balance it. Like right here, I have a slit, and then I can put it in. So if you're on your leg, it's not gonna skid around too much because it's your leg is soft, so it catches on to the cloth of your pants or whatever, right? And so it works. It actually worked. I played some like that, but as long as I'm at home, okay, I just wirelessly through Bluetooth plug in my Xbox gaming controller, and I play Monster Hunter Rise with the Xbox controller using my monitor. Okay, just straight up. And at that point, of course, well, why don't you just use your gaming PC? Well, my gaming PC, it's still kind of working, and I can take it on a trip. This one I can. Or if I just feel like plugging something in to the TV in the living room to play all these games that I have on Steam that I don't have over there, yeah, I could do that, but I'll have to hug along like this thing, and it sucks to plug in and plug out the cables from the back. It really does. Like there's stuff that I would like to do with that I just don't, because if I have to access the back of the thing to plug in and plug out all the kind of things that I have going on there, and it's a big thing. And it's an old computer. It has problems with software. I'm still on Windows 10. I have to update to 11 because that installation is even broken, and there's stuff that I can't update. I can't even use that PC. And the other one that I have is an all-in-one that's a lot weaker. It's not a gaming PC. And so all these things, you see. But yeah, because I think the gist of it for this device, it's really a device where you have to do a lot of mental gymnastics to justify purchasing it, and that is not a good thing. It really shows that it's a device that it's very expensive for what it does. Because if you're gonna just play some video games, if you want to play AAA games and have great graphical quality and everything and good frame rates and all that, like this is very bad. This is very bad. You can get this is 800 euro. You can get it for 700, and for 700 you're not gonna get a great PC. You're not gonna get, I looked into it, you're not gonna get a great laptop either. And on laptops, cheap laptops, like battery life is even worse. Like they just immediately die on you. Like you go for 5 minutes and then the battery's drained. It's terrible. I had a long time ago a gaming PC. You have to buy a pretty big, heavy and expensive one to have a big battery to be doing anything for a longer period of time. At that time, it's even worse portable. So laptops are also not a very universal solution to this, and they are very expensive. You don't get a decent or a good. You get something more powerful than this for sure, but you don't get a very good gaming machine, a laptop, for $800 or $700. Like you should be looking at probably around 1,000 to get something that has a decent balance of not having a bad screen or not having very bad noise issues with the cooling, or having a decent battery life and all these things. So, but if you want to play video games with good quality, 700, I think it's too little. But if you go for $800 or $900, you get a gaming PC that really does it. Like it really plays the games at decent resolutions with good frame rates. Good frame rates, like not like 60 frame rates at medium settings with, you can get something with, I don't know, like an RX 6600 that's gonna be much more powerful than this. And that's entry level stuff. That graphic card costs $200. If you go used, or if you just upgrade whatever you still have, you're going to be saving a lot of money if you want to play in the home. Again, you need to justify that with the portability of this. And most of the time, I don't really need this portability, right? Sometimes I will need this. It's just that I know for a fact, in my specific case, that I'm going to be traveling a lot, right? I am going to be traveling a lot. And it's not that it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be using this on the bus for half an hour or for an hour until I get to work. I would get a Switch for that if I just wanted to play some games for half an hour in a bus or in a train or something. It's much more reasonable. Maybe a Switch Lite. I don't like the buttons on the Switch Lite. That's my problem with the Switch Lite. And it's not detachable. You can't change for different buttons. I prefer the Joy-Cons with those clicky buttons over the Switch Lite. And that has also inferior battery life, but it's still better than the original Switch. As bad as it is, it's much worse than the OLED. And even worse than the new Switch that just updated, but the same console. But it is, it's still a more sensible thing because it weighs much less and it's much cheaper. Except for the fact that, okay, I buy a Switch Lite for $200, but then I have to pay $50 here for a games, $50 there for a game, and on Windows I have the library ready. I have hundreds, if not thousands, of games that I can just install, and that's not counting any kind of emulation or pirating anything. I literally just own hundreds and hundreds of games that I accumulated throughout the years, and it's very good because those games play fine here. I mean, Monster Hunter Rise is a Switch game. That game plays fine here. I'm not trying to play Cyberpunk or the new GTA 6 when it comes out, whenever it does come out, right? I'm playing older games. That works. If you already own them, are you gonna buy this just to buy those games then? I don't think so. I wouldn't. If I didn't have the library already built, I'd probably be looking again at the Switch, maybe. I don't like the Switch. I'm talking as oh, the Switch is so amazing. I don't think it's amazing. I'm playing this game here at 60 frames per second on a big screen. The Switch has a much smaller screen, and it runs this game, the Monster Hunter Rise, at 30, right? So I mean, it's fine. You can play Monster Hunter Rise at 30 for sure. It's not gonna be a garbage experience, but I mean, it's also not amazing. I guess the last information that I'm gonna leave you guys with, just to stop this at some point, I think 1 hour is a good time to stop. As you can see, without playing games, then the battery kind of stops draining as fast, right? Here on my whatever thing. So it's not like if you're just watching some YouTube and stuff like that, it's gonna give you some reasonable battery life. It really is that processing power consumes a lot in these x86 things. And by the way, I actually turned off simultaneous multi-threading on my Legion GO. I don't know whether it's doing anything for me or not. I just have this theory that it's not as power efficient, and the games that I'm playing don't require more than 8 cores anyway, so it should make gameplay potentially a little bit smoother and maybe save a tiny little bit of battery, but I don't know whether it really does it or not. I definitely didn't test it, A/B comparison, and I didn't see anyone. I see one person comparing it, and what the conclusion that person got to was just that a few games run a little bit better, like more smooth, but not necessarily higher frame rates, but it depends on the game that you're running. So let me leave you with the last information that I wanted to give you. It's the following. This D-pad is kind of like an Xbox One D-pad, but it's even shallower and clickier. So this D-pad, it really is super stiff, clicky, and shallow in movement. It kind of reminds me almost of the D-pad in a what's the name of that console? The PSP Go, which had a D-pad like this. It's no travel whatsoever and clicky. Okay, I'm fine with this, especially because I'm playing Monster Hunter Rise, where this is item selection right here. Okay, and again, if I want to play Super Mario Brothers, this is stupid overkill to play Super Mario Brothers. I can do that, but I mean, but I also don't mind these kinds of D-pads, except for fighting games. I probably would not play fighting games on this. But at that point, like, I think playing fighting games on this is probably going to be a garbage experience. Whatever you do, if you take this controller out or put it in or whatever, you just plug a decent controller into this to play. It's what I would do, or I would just skip on these things, right? I just not do it. But yeah, the D-pad is something that really is probably going to be a deal breaker for many people. The buttons are also shallow, but they are not super clicky. I think they are membrane buttons, but they are slightly stiff and low travel, but not hugely so. You can see it goes in and it's not super clicky, but this D-pad, you see? There's no movement to it whatsoever. Like it barely, I can barely see it moving. I hear it clicking, I can barely see it moving. This is definitely a deal breaker for a lot of people, except for the fact that this thing, that's exactly one of the things that I like about it. This is huge, gigantic, and ridiculous to transport. But if you just take off these Joy-Cons and forget them and use this as a gaming tablet, then you can get whatever controller you have, and this is going to be pretty portable at that point. And again, my experience with using a Bluetooth controller with this is perfect. Like, no problem. Just do it. So you could get that SN30 from 8BitDo, which is a small controller. The Bluetooth variant, connect here, and I think that maybe you could have a problem of it not being, but I think that one you can get it into Xbox mode, right, in the X input mode, so you would find, or whatever. I have a bunch of Xbox controllers here, so I just use one of those. So I could do that too, right? So I'm not gonna talk about, I don't think there's any value of me talking about the specs of this thing or anything like that. The only value I can offer is my personal experience that I had with this, mostly just to, I know I've watched many reviews of this after I bought it, right? And it's enjoyable somehow to just see people talk about something and share experiences about something that they own, that you also own. Sometimes you learn something new, or sometimes you get a couple new ideas, or sometimes you're just curious. Even I, as antisocial as I am still a social person, a social creature, because we are humans, we're social creatures. So we like saying things and hearing things. And that's what this was all about. Yeah, the last thing, these buttons on the back, everybody says that these buttons, again, also zero travel. They are just like they're just like the D-pad, probably the exact same micro switches in here, or dome. They're like those metal dome things that are used in some buttons. I'm not sure. I actually agree. It's almost unanimous. Like, you can't really use them because this thing is too heavy and you have to grip it. Or if you're not using this in this mode, if you're using this individually, you're grabbing the controller right here the entire time. When you have this detached, right? You're gonna be pressing this constantly without wanting to. Like, why even bother? Like, they're unusable in my opinion. I'm glad I don't usually use them. But yeah, it's just way too easy. Actually, I think this one, feeling this, well, looking at this doesn't seem so. Like, yeah, I think maybe this one I could use, and maybe this one, because you have more space down here. This one is ridiculous. Like, you'll be pressing this constantly. There's no way to controllably press this how you want outside of that FPS holding mode thing. For the FPS thing, I actually enjoyed using it. I found it useful as I was going around and moving those files around on my Legion GO from a USB stick that I took from my computer. So that was good, like using it in desktop mode like that. Just, now for first person shooters, you need a level of speed and precision. I don't think it's worth it. Like, you have a desk, you have everything, you lugged around this huge freaking console, and you can't grab a little freaking Bluetooth mouse. Like, I don't believe your use case, right? Like, it's just an excuse. It's like someone who creates something that substitutes micro SD cards. It's like, well, who needs to substitute micro SD cards? Like, you can carry 50 freaking micro SD cards anywhere you need, at any time you need. You don't just need, and a mouse is the easiest thing of all gaming accessories. It's way easier even to carry a mouse than a controller. Like, controller, okay, like these things, they do the job of an Xbox controller. I could just take an Xbox controller with me. Yeah, I could, but that thing is a little bit bulky. I do have one Xbox controller with a case that I can throw into a bag, still heavy. I can have a mouse. I have mice that are a fraction of the size of that, right? Like this one's broken, but this is the size of a normal mini mouse, right? This is the size, okay, this is thick, but this is the size of this freaking thing that they want you to carry around to use right? It's like, why just throw this into a bag, into your whatever you're using to carry the Lenovo thing around, and use that. That's pretty obvious, right? I mean, I'm not gonna discuss that any further. It's a non-selling point. I'm glad it's there. I'm not glad that I paid for it. I'm glad it's there because I used it and I will use it again. But it's just a, uh, I don't think anyone ever should buy this for this feature, because I don't think it actually adds value as far as that goes. The last thing, I just, yeah, no, there's no last things. I'm just very happy with this USB 4 adapter there, and that makes it like, because otherwise you have the cable coming up like this, even the just like the charger for this, right? And that's pretty dumb. But using it like this with the USB hub, also using that, had no problems. I put this with a USB hub connected to my monitor, quickly found on Windows how to make everything, used it in dual screen, one screen showing here and a different desktop showing on the other monitor at 1080p 60, played games like that, no problem. Of course, you can't render your games at huge resolutions or anything. You're still stuck to the performance that this has, but just for using it for office work or watching YouTube or doing general things, this is a capable computer. Like, don't get me wrong, this is not a garbage computer. Like, there are lots of little notebooks that have like these Intel Atom processors in there, or some AMD something entry-level stuff. Like, those are bad, like have very bad performance and they're very annoying to use. This is not the case. This is a good computer that's capable and it's just for playing games. It does play the games, but you'll have to tone down on the resolutions and graphic settings and everything depending on the game. Okay, so whatever, because I know some people who own this and are looking for to maybe buy this. I would love to hear what your comments are, what your opinions are on this, or what your experiences are on this. And yeah, and this was the video that I wanted to do today. So maybe if you have an old OLED, an old Switch or an original one, and the battery life sucks, maybe get an OLED Switch. But you don't play games anyway, do you? So it doesn't matter. See you guys around if you ever come back. Bye.